we haven't fought. Imagine that. They gotta lie. They gotta lie. They gotta lie all the time. They can't even believe their own lie. You can't even believe your own lie.
I want to be the best. So when I see certain guys out there, and I seen Tio his last fight, I was there front row, and I'm like, damn, this dude is like, he like a baby Roy. Like he like doing things with his hands down, flashy.
Too much of it. You know, I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it.
At the press conference, Teofimo Lopez sent a strong warning to Shakur Stevenson, saying he will take control in the ring. He admitted some see him as the underdog, but insisted he will prove his abilities. Lopez emphasized that anyone who underestimates him does so at their own risk, and promised a commanding performance that will clearly show his skill, strength, and determination.
They kept dressing that protection program.
Money talk, walk. Money talk.
Teofimo Lopez made it clear that he won't let Shakur Stevenson take the belt he fought so hard to win. He highlighted the sacrifices behind his success, saying the title reflects years of effort, struggle, and dedication. For Lopez, this fight is about protecting what he earned through hard work. He has full confidence in himself and is determined to defend his place in the ring. Lopez sees this fight as personal, fueled by pride and effort, and insists that no one can take away what he earned through discipline, commitment, and sweat.
Yeah. I'm gonna beat him up. I'm gonna beat him up.
And we know at one point you contemplated retirement. Seems like you're in a good place now. You're active. Where are you at right now? Where are you feeling about your career?
Mentally, I'm in the Bahamas somewhere, having a coquito.
Aoya analyzes the fight between Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, predicting it will likely last all 12 rounds. He points out that the first 6 rounds could shape the outcome, noting that Stevenson may start cautiously, staying on the back foot to study Lopez. If Lopez dominates early, it could force Shakur to change his approach later, making the fight more intense. Lopez is seen as a frontrunner who relies on early energy and explosiveness, and Aoya questions whether he can keep that pace. If Shakur falls behind early, he may need to take more risks in the later rounds, leading to a dramatic finish. On the other hand, if Lopez loses the opening rounds, Stevenson could secure an easy unanimous decision. The breakdown shows that strategy, energy management, and how each round is fought will be crucial to who comes out on top.
Of being in the ring,
yes.
Shakur Stevenson. Obviously, you guys are both in Las Vegas. I'm hearing that you did link up today. A face-off happened between the two of you?
Yeah, face-off happened, things of that nature, just to create the things that are in motion already. So we're really adamant about fighting each other next, and I can't wait for us to really lace it up. And I see him across the ring, and really when that bell rings, lights out for him.
What's it like seeing him now kind of face to face? When you look at him, what do you see? Because obviously you're not locked in just yet, and the closer it gets to a fight, obviously things turn a little bit. But when you do look at Shakur, what do you think of him?
I think I don't think too much of it. I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it. I've bled for this, and I'm not taking nothing from him, but I just believe that what's gonna happen next is for destiny in the box.
Shakur Stevenson says his motivation comes from a strong competitive drive, always seeking the toughest challenges. Watching Teofimo Lopez fight, he was impressed by his confident, flashy style, which reminded him of a young Roy and sparked a desire to test himself against such talent. Stevenson sees this fight as a key chance to measure his skills against an elite opponent and adapt to new strategies. Looking back at his bout with William Ada, he recalls it was unusual and demanding, but it helped him grow, proving he can perform under pressure. He learned to handle fighters who constantly apply pressure, which boosted his confidence. Now, facing Lopez, Stevenson feels ready to deal with speed, power, and unpredictability. His focus, adaptability, and experience give him confidence to approach the fight smartly, turning it into a full test of his skills, mindset, and readiness at the highest level.
I don't think that Shakur is going to come out and try to fight or take the fight to Tio in the first 6 rounds at all. So if he's fighting off the back foot, if Teo can make it so that he's convincingly, or he's convinced at least Shakur that he may have won 4 of the first 6 rounds, you know, if it's 4-2 in Shakur's mind going into the second half of the fight, or if I'm looking at him stealing those first 6 rounds, then it's an interesting fight going into the tail end, because Teo, to me, is a front runner, right? I want to see if he can carry his energy and his explosiveness late in the fight and not wear down. And then when Shakur starts to open up, you know, can you steal some of those championship rounds from him and make it like a close fight? I think if Teo comes out and does what he usually does, which is try to swarm Shakur early and keep Shakur on the defensive early, then he can try to steal a lot of those early rounds. And if he does that, then Shakur has to fight in the tail end of that fight. Now to make it real interesting. If I'm looking at the first 3 rounds, first 4 rounds, and Teo looks like he's losing those rounds convincingly, then it's an easy night for Shakur, unanimous decision in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because I don't think Teo is going to bring anything late in the game, you know what I mean, to this fight. I think if he is who he's always been, you know, he's going to get gassed after like the 7th round and then take some rounds off. And when he does that, Shakur will open up and start to try to pick him apart, pot shot him, and do things like that. But this is the perfect fight, narrative-wise, for Shakur, because I've been waiting for Shakur to get into that fight where, you know, he doesn't have the fight where he doesn't have his Diego Corrales fight, you know what I mean, where you think he's actually in danger. Shakur has been he's been outclassing everybody he's in the ring with. You know what I mean? Then the guys that you think could give him some work, like De Los Santos, I know people hate when I bring that fight up, but I want to see him act.
Chris Algieri highlights the importance of the Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez fight, saying it's a major event for the sport. He supports matchups where top fighters challenge each other, taking risks even if it means losing, because setbacks don't diminish their elite status. Algieri sees this fight as a true test of skill, focusing on strategy and technique rather than non-stop punching. He notes that a win for Stevenson would cement his place among the top 5 to 7 pound-for-pound fighters, though many already consider him there. Algieri compares the bout to classic showdowns in boxing history, emphasizing the drama, skill, and anticipation such fights bring, proving that high-level boxing is still exciting and meaningful.
But bro, what is it about you that has you, looking at a fighter that you know is the truth and then saying, I want to fight him? It seems like it should be normal if you're a fighter, right? But that stuff is dying off in the game right now. And I feel like you one of the last of the dying breed that actually want real challenges.
Yeah, I'm competitive, bro. So it's like, I want to be the best. So when I see certain guys out there, and I seen Teo his last fight, I was there front row, and I'm like, damn, this dude is like, he like a baby Roy. Like, he like doing things with his hands down, flashy. And I thought it was cool. So it kind of made me want to get in a ring with him and see if he could do them things against my style.
Your last fight was against William Zepeda in July, and you fought a totally different way. It wasn't the easiest way or the best way to fight, but I think it was good for you and your development because it not only sent a message to the rest of the division, one up, your division at that time, and then the one above you, but it sent a message to the fans. But I think it also did something for you to prove to yourself that, man, listen, that wasn't like my best performance, but I showed you I can get it out the mud. What did that performance kind of do for you now that you look back at it?
Honestly, I think like styles wise, I think that Zepeda's style is the style that's supposed to give me the most trouble. Like, guys that box and give me time to think is the guys that's gonna have a fit with me all night. But the guys who press me and put me against some ropes and throw a million punches, that's the style that's supposed to give me trouble. So I went out there and I prevailed against that style, and now I'm fighting against a boxer, which for me, it just makes it more fun. I don't have to deal with a guy that's trying to like wear me down.
Bruce Carrington breaks down Teofimo Lopez's upcoming fight with Shakur Stevenson, pointing out a major weakness in Lopez's style: handling dynamic movement. While Lopez has great athleticism and knockout power, he may struggle against an opponent who constantly shifts angles and controls spacing. Carrington highlights that Stevenson's calm, tactical approach could exploit this, forcing Lopez to overcommit or miss shots. By managing distance and pace, Stevenson can dictate the fight instead of letting Lopez set the tone. Carrington also notes that Lopez's reliance on explosive power can backfire against a patient, mobile fighter. Stevenson's defense and ability to reset after combinations may frustrate Lopez and drain his energy over the rounds. In the end, Lopez must adjust his movement and patience to overcome Stevenson's technical skill, showing that athleticism alone may not be enough to win against a disciplined, smart opponent.
Health of boxing on this side of the world. Listen, there's nothing like the Garden. We both fought there many times. I fought in the big room. There's nothing like the Garden. Just the vibe, like you said, champ, that's around that. And this fight is deserving to be here. It's that good of a fight. It's that big a fight, and especially like I said, like the health of American boxing. This is one of the best fights that can be made. And putting it in the Garden just makes too much sense.
But the idea of the turmoil, the eyes on it, the spectacle, the circus. Chris, you talked about the idea that Teofimo Lopez kind of lives in this. That's where he flourishes. That's what he loves. This idea that because there's so many eyeballs on it, it's going to be kind of a circus. Does that favor Teofimo a little bit when you look at the strategy? Yes, no?
I'm going to say well, I can't say for certain because there's no certain with Teofimo Lopez. He's one of the most up, down, left, right guys I've ever been around.
Mercurial, we could say. Yes.
But when he is on, he's damn near unbeatable. I mean, he's such a good athlete. He has such a good boxing IQ. He's so physical and explosive. And again, I've said this on past shows. I've called him many times for Top Rank, been around fight weeks. And it just seems to me, the more out of sorts he seems, the more back against the wall it looks like, the more that he's an underdog, the better he performs. And this could be that kind of situation. New York is a tough place, man. They're already gibbering, going back and forth, saying like, he reps Brooklyn, but there's kind of questions about his Brooklyn roots. Can he really rep Brooklyn in the way that he says he can? So he's already getting that heat for that. I don't know. It might be a good thing to poke the bear in terms of how well Teofimo is going to show up.
Paulie, that's a huge. You're from Brooklyn. That's a big insult to say that you're not really from Brooklyn.
Insult him a little bit.
Insult him a little bit. Insult him.
But I'll tell you what. There's so many thoughts in my head with this situation because Teofimo is at his most dangerous when he's counted out, and this is going to be one of those fights.
Gary Antron Russell gives a detailed look at Teofimo Lopez, focusing on a specific version of the fighter rather than generalizing his skills. He uses Lopez's fight against Vasily Lomachenko as an example, showing how Lopez excels when he mixes aggression with control. Russell stresses that Lopez's success comes from staying composed while applying constant pressure, putting opponents in tough spots without leaving himself open to counters. This combination of intensity and discipline makes him very difficult to face. When Lopez fully commits to his plan, pushing the pace, using his athleticism, and timing his attacks, he can dominate rounds and keep even top-level fighters on the defensive.
Like, Teo is going to bring the fight. He's very athletic. He has a lot of explosiveness, but I do feel like when it comes to Shakur, bro, his movement may frustrate him. The only thing that worries me when it comes to Teofimo is his frustration. Like, is he going to be able to work well with a mover? We've seen, difficulties that he had with Sandor Martin. We've seen the difficulties that he had with Jimmy Ortiz, guys that's been moving around and not staying still. Like, if you keep Teo moving around and he can't plant his feet, what can he do? We're going to have to find that out on, January 31st. And I think Shakur, he's probably one of the best guys to, move his feet, be on defense, being hella patient and frustrating a fighter, bro. Like, so, I don't know. We've seen Teo get frustrated to the point where he's asking himself, do I still got it? You know what I'm saying? We got to see what his mentality is going to be like come January 31st.
Do you think that his experience on the biggest of stages, his two biggest wins, he was an underdog. And both guys, ironically enough, were southpaws like Shakur. That play any factor to you, man?
Nah, styles is different. The styles are totally different. Lomachenko don't fight like Shakur. Josh Taylor don't fight like Shakur. Like I don't see just because southpaw that same thing will happen. I feel like certain techniques could be used to fight Shakur, yeah. But in terms of like that approach of the fight, nah. Like Shakur fights totally different. You gotta be able to do some out of pocket stuff with Shakur. You gotta throw while he's throwing. That's probably some of the only times that he's able to get hit. Only time he's open. So Yeah, other than that, bro, it's gonna be a pretty tough night for Teofimo Lopez, but I feel like
Russell also points out that Lopez's power and explosiveness become even more effective when combined with patience, letting him land strong shots without exposing himself. By looking at the Lomachenko fight, Russell shows that Lopez's success isn't just about natural talent or athletic ability, but about smart strategy, adaptability, and focus. This analysis highlights that a calm, strategic approach makes Lopez a serious and dangerous threat at the highest level.
You need to sync him up on that offense. Right? Because you got a strap and you play with me.
Yeah, nah, for sure. I mean, look, like you said, the first thing you said was bluffing McMuffin, right? So you don't think that he's going to do that. Let's just say that's the case. Let's say he wins this fight, but he doesn't win the fight. Whatever happened.
Right, because you made a statement after he said, last year, I'm going to go back down to 35. So which one is, man? He kind of 6'7" with.
No, there you go.
Come on, which one is?
So let's talk about 140 then. Because obviously there's other champions there. One who you've been going back and forth with recently online. One that you have history with. And you got other guys, Subriel there, somebody else you had history, Richardson Hitchens. What's the route for you going forward after your next fight?
After my next fight, unify. I've always let it be known. I want to be undisputed in my division. I want to unify. Anybody who got a title at the time, that's what I need to see next after my next up-and-coming fight.
Gary, just talk about, obviously your division is hot right now. This fight, your fight coming up, you know, maybe one of the biggest ones in Teofimo versus Shakur. Just looking at that fight stylistically, how does it play out in the ring?
It's 50-50. You know, in order for you to participate in this sport, you got to have a high level of confidence. I feel like both of them has a high level of confidence. Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, but styles make fights. Naturally, I think Teofimo Lopez is stronger than Shakur. Naturally, I think he has more athleticism than Shakur. And he got a good IQ on the sport itself. But Shakur, I feel like he's a more smarter fighter. He's a more technical fighter. You know, I'm not saying that he's a square or he's just a textbook fighter, but he's seasoned, he's poised. I feel like mentally he's more mature. Like, he don't go outside of the boundaries on taking risks. So a lot of times you will see him fight somebody
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned for more. See you next time.